Hi friends, it's Heather and I have a Mother's Day card that I designed that I'd like to share with you today. I used a couple images from the Graphic Fairy in the program GIMP to create all my images here, the front and the back, and I have some beautiful embellishments from Pro 31 Designs. Let me show you real quick here. This is a pretty little heart. Let's see if I can get that to zoom. There we go. And it's a kind of a soft greenish color paper that I've made with polka dots and little roses. And I just simply cut it out and embossed it with a script embossing folder. And I used one of my favorite champagne pearls, the flat backs from Pro 31 Design. See, I have some more of the flat back pearls here. And then I have the image, which I altered from the original, and I added the text mother so it could be used for Mother's Day. I took the bottom here and I duplicated it and put it toward the top, which here I'll let you see that of course it has a hidden tag because most of my projects have a hidden tag. And so it has the heart, and you'll see that I used pop dots so that my heart will stick outside and on top of my little envelope here I've made. And I have some more of the flat back pearls, and I used a stamp to stamp around the edges, which is just one that I made myself. I told you in one of my other videos, it's just this stuff called Speedy Carve, and you just draw and then carve out the spots you don't want. This is what it looks like. They get kind of dirty, but they work and it's fun. Okay, I also used some of the ivory flowers, the curly roses from Pro 31 Designs, and some of the beaded pearl sprays, and then I just had some, what is this, the vintage seam binding, sorry. Okay, and then the bottom says, love you. Okay, and then this is just another stamp that I made myself. Okay, so how I, of course the back, I like to have the back look, as good as the front. And on this side I just used some glue and glued down the heart flat. So on only this side it stands up so that it's able to just slide in and cover over the top there. So here we go. And I just wanted to show you, I'm going to move this all the way here. This is how my pieces look, and I printed this out and I left the little lines in here so you would be able to see where I do my folds. But I just created this paper in GIMP, and it's really pretty. It's got like a script and little roses, and like I said, it's kind of a greenish blue color. And then this is the image that I had altered here, and then I just have some text words down here. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit. Here we go. And I also have the hearts, so you can see what they look like. Now that would be one piece, and then here's the other piece, and I have the front and the back of the tag, as well as some additional little hearts and little tiny tags, which I just added for fun, because when I'm creating my pieces in GIMP and then in Inkscape, I like to use up as much paper as I can, so I'm not wasting any paper when I'm printing, and then I can just cut it all out. All right, also on my blog, if you come and give me a visit at heatherahudson.blogspot.com, I am offering this free collage sheet, and it's a really pretty rose tag that I made, and it's the same image. Let me zoom out again here. Here we go, so you can see that you'll get 4 tags, and I flipped this image so you can cut this one out and then glue this one on the back, and then you have it either side. Okay, so and this is one that I'm offering for free on my blog. If you come and visit and you sign up to follow by email, then I'll send you a copy of this so that you can print it out off of your computer. And I also wanted to let you know that I have this for sale on my blog for $2.50 in a burgundy color background with no writing, so you can add whatever kind of text you want, or you could stamp or just add flowers to the heart areas. I have it in a shabby blue-green, which is kind of my favorite color. And then I also have it in the this original color here as well, without the text. And if you just go to my blog, you'll see I have a tab that says collage I think, collage pieces or digi-collages, and you can just go there and you'll be able to find them, and there's a little PayPal button under each one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead now and cut out my stuff. Actually, wait, I'll show you here. I'm going to be using the Perfect Copper pearls, Perfect Pearls in Perfect Copper, as well as the little brush to put it on and the brush to take off the excess, and my Perfect Medium pen. This is one of my favorite tools, and I just want to show you that this is the one that has the bullet tip. There's one with a brush tip, but I prefer the bullet tip because it does the fine lines, and it's just Perfect Medium. There you go. And it even says bullet right on there. And then any brushes you can use that are soft here. If you got any paint brushes floating around that would work in like a mop brush, that would be good. And then I have my favorite flat back pearls in champagne from Pro 31 Designs, as well as these curly mulberry roses here. And what I did actually is I took one apart and I just used the center. And the one I used here was a slightly lighter color, but you can see how it's just the center, which is nice and compact. And I didn't need all the other flower petals, so I will use them on something else. I have the Ivory Curly Rose. I have just a regular little pink flower too. I thought I might use that. And then I have, here's one of the pearl sprays in the ivory. That's the color I like to use. And I think that is it. And I've just got my seam binding here as well. And I've got my May Arts trim in the leaf pattern with the green, and Esmeralda was so nice and she sent this to me. I love it, as well as my other Pro 31 Designs goodies. All right, so I'll be back just in a minute. I'm going to cut things out and then I'll be right back. Okay, I just went ahead and cut out my pieces. So I have all my pieces here for my card. And then I folded on my lines. So if you look kind of close, you can see the little line there. And then I'm going to just take them and crease them. I'm just going to use like a brush. Otherwise, you use your bone folder. I have lots of brushes around, so that seems to be what I can find. I can never seem to find my bone folder. Ever since I took it out of my, Score Pal, I've never been able to find it. Just one of those things. All right, and I just happen to have just a regular Elmer's glue stick. So I'm going to go ahead and just put some glue on my flap. And on this one too. And then I'm just going to go ahead and stick this down. Give it a good little nudge here. Turn it over and do the same. And you'll see that you can see a little bit of the line here at the bottom, but that's okay because you're going to ink the edges and it just gives it, I don't know, gives it a nice look, I think. Anyway, okay, I'm going to go ahead and ink my edges with Distress Ink, Tim Holtz, and old paper. And I'm going to do that for all of my pieces. And I wanted to show you that I did emboss my heart. So you'll see that the hearts, both of them have been embossed. And I used a Cuttlebug embossing folder for that, which looks like this. So it's the script. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you what it's called, but it's got script writing. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do my edges here. I have a foam tip applicator by Ranger as well. And I'm going to get that out of the way. And I'm just going to go and do my edges. Hopefully none of my lights or anything will fall on my camera. I think I'm kind of jarring my table up quite a bit. So I'll do all the edges on the front and the back of this. And then I'm going to glue my two sides of my tag together. So I can get a little more here. So you see how the Distress inks really adds to the edges, gives it that nice old worn paper look. Okay, as opposed to nothing on the front, something on the back. Okay, I'm also going to use the, let's see, you'll see it's a little darker on my one here, and that's because after I used the old paper, I went back over everything with Vintage Photo. So I just like to go right over the top of my embossing with the old paper. So let me see if I can zoom in a little bit more so you can see a little better what I'm doing here. Yep. So you really see the difference in the embossing here when one's been has the ink on it and one doesn't. So kind of fun. Okay, zoom back out. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the same with this one. And then I'll go ahead and real quick here just show you what I do when I'm doing my Vintage Photo. I'm just going to do the edges pretty much. So I'm just going to hold my card like this and just go right along the edge. And the same over here. So you can see I'll give it a nice crisp dark edge there. And that's why I was saying that it doesn't really matter if you have that little line there, because you're going to pretty much put the dark over it and you really don't see it. So looks kind of cool. So here is the side that's done versus the side that's not done. And just so you can see the pattern, I did a kind of a brownish color script and creamy color polka dots with a bluish green background, and then just another graphic fairy rose that I took from an image. I just took out the part that I wanted and I made it smaller and put it all over my paper. Okay, I'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my pieces, but you don't really need to watch me do that. So I'll be back. I just glued my front and back for the inside part of the tag together, and I just wanted to show you how, my cutting skills are not all that great, so one heart's a little different. So whenever I see white on the one side, I just use my craft knife, and then I just simply, come in right next to this and just remove the white on the one side. And depending on how much it is, if it's not very much, I just leave it, because when you ink, you're not going to see it anyway. So there we go. I think we're pretty good here. I just have a tiny bit just right there. And I don't even know if that's going to make a difference. But okay, so I'll go ahead real quick and ink that with my old paper Distressing by Ranger. And I'm kind of a sloppy inker, and I really don't follow any rules or anything, so you can ink whatever way makes you happy. That's what I say. I just have like a look of messiness. And then I like to just take my ink pad, and kind of put it all around. There we go. Adds a little bit more depth to your paper. And I'm going to do the same thing with the back side now. And just keep going around all the edges here. And here, and then again, and just here and there throughout. Okay, I have finished inking the edges here as well. Now I'm going to go ahead actually and use my Vintage Photo, and like I showed you before, I'm just going to kind of flick on the edges here. So you can just see. So it just darkens up the edges just enough. Give it that nice old look, like the paper's been sitting around forever. And here we go. And I just got new ink pads, which are nice. I tend to overuse mine, and then I tried doing the re-inking thing, but the re-inking thing doesn't work very good for me. Okay, so I have my hearts here as well that have been embossed and then inked with both colors. And I also have my little words, and the little words, I'm just going to actually just use the Vintage photo to go just around the edges. And it's kind of interesting because just from holding the piece in your hands, it gets a little bit, it kind of folds and creases a little bit just from holding it, so that gives it more of the vintage look as well. So it's a nice little feature you get from just doing your work. Kind of nice. So I'll go ahead and do all these. One says mother and the other two say love in you, I believe. Yep. So go ahead and just keep doing this. There we go. Okay. Put my inks away here. And then get this out of the way. Okay. It's easier to do your stamping on your image before you actually put your piece together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And unfortunately, I have no idea where I put my little tiny flower stamp. So I'm just going to use my favorite background stamp. That's what I call it. This one that I made that I showed you earlier. And it's just a bunch of leaves. If you look, and there's like a little flower in the center. But usually I just use the little viney leaves. So, and then I'm going to use Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to kind of mess it around here a little bit. And let's see. I'm going to have a lot of flowers up there, so there's really not too much I need to do up there. So there we go. It's just a different spot of my thing. And let's see, I'll just put a little bit there. Turn my work. It's easier to turn your work than try to turn yourself. And I'll come back over here. And I kind of turn my stamp around, so I'm using a different spot of it each time, so it doesn't all look the same. And let's see, I don't have all that much going on up at the top, so as far as decoration, so I'm going to go ahead and add some more there. Okay, and then when I have like little spaces here, I'll find like a spot that's not as big on my stamp, and then I'll stick it in there. But actually that looks pretty much like what I did exactly there. So let me change that again. I want to have two of the same thing right next to each other. So I'm just going to use part of the stamp there, and then another one here. There we go. And I'm pretty happy with that so far. I'll give it another little bit right down there. Okay. So there is that. Let's see. Okay. Got one of my flowers. And let's find my other flower. Here's another flower. And let's see. I think maybe I'll just stick this one in there. That looks kind of pretty too. It's a little different. Otherwise, I guess I'm going to just pop up the center of this one here. So you just kind of work around it. You can pull it off. So they're just kind of all glued together. There we go. Oh, and I forgot I still had the stem. There we go. So I just pulled that right out of there. So you can see it. There we go. And since this is a little brighter, I'm going to go ahead and use my old paper. See if I can just make it look a little bit different in color here. I could go get a mist, but I don't want to walk to the basement. I'm going to use my brown. That's doing pretty good. The Vintage Photo is making it look older. Very pretty. That looks good with it. I'm liking it. Okay, and then let's see, get my heart, and I'm going to grab a pearl here, and I'm just going to cut off one pearl. And then they have these little edges, and some girls burn those off because they're handier with a match than I am, or a lighter. I could never use a lighter. All the times in science class, I would sit there and try to start the little, lighters that people use like when they're smoking, and I just can't do it. So good thing I didn't want to smoke. Okay, so I have that. Got my glue gun set up, and I'm just going to dab a little bit of glue here on the center pointy part of my heart. and then just stick my little pearl on there. Stick it down. So there you go. Okay, and then let's see. I guess I could go ahead actually before I start doing everything. I'll go ahead and stamp on my other tag here because I've got this tag, and I'm just going to go around the same way, which I guess I'll do that in a minute. I'll go ahead and put my heart on now real quick. So you'll need some dimensional pop dots. I'm just going to use some that I already have sitting out, just some little square ones. See, they're kind of divided there. So I'm going to go ahead and use, I think I used a little one on that one, so I'll just use a little one. Doesn't take much. And, oops, let's see. Where did I put my pocket? Here it is. I'm going to put this on there. So I just have it on the back, my pop dot, kind of toward the top. There we go. And I'm going to set that down, and I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, I went ahead and I just tied my piece of seam binding around my card, my pocket pretty much. I'm just going to kind of position it where I want it. And I'll give this a little snip. And I'll give this one a little snip. There we go. That out of the way. I have my front piece here that I've stamped. And what I did is I added 4 of the pop dots in a larger size, and I put them toward the in from the edges and left the center open, so if I had decided to, you know, that I forgot to put my ribbon on, I'd still be able to just slide my ribbon through. And I'm going to go ahead now and adhere that to the front of my pocket. So get these little tabs out of the way. And I like to leave a little space at the top and the bottom because who knows, I might have some new trim or something that I'd like to add, and it could pop out and hang out from the bottom here, but you wouldn't be able to do that if you had the pop dot in the way. So, all right, let's get this here and just kind of eyeball where you like it. And so I'm thinking that looks pretty good. Let's see at the top there. Yep, that looks good. And I might just pull out my little bow there. Okay, so now my front is all ready to go. Okay, and now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my tag and I'm going to go ahead and slide it in the pocket so I can see about where I want to have my little heart with the dimensional pop dot on there. So I'll go ahead and take that off. And if you wanted, you could stick it to this side. It'd probably be better to do that. So then you can eyeball your heart so you know where to put it. And I might need to bring it down just a little. There we go. Because my other side's looking a little off. But that's okay because I can I'll be putting my other heart on there as well, so I can trim that one. I just want to make sure I've got plenty of space, that I didn't adhere it to the top. There we go. Okay, so now that's good to go. And let's grab some pearls. And I just did 2 by 2, but you can measure whatever you like. And then I just did a straight row across the bottom. So let's see. Let's do 2 and another 2, and I'm just going to trim my edges real quick. And then I like to use art glitter glue as well. It's got like a fine tip applicator, but when I want something to dry like really, really fast, when I'm like doing this video, I'll use my hot glue gun. But otherwise, the art glitter glue works really well and really holds things well. And I would do design projects for my local scrapbook store, which has now closed. They would hang things on the wall, and stuff that I put on with the hot glue would sometimes come off, but the stuff that I used or put on with the Art Institute glue they make all the glitters. It would always stay on. It was great. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little dollop of glue here too. And then put my little pearls on here. And these are my favorite pearls, which I know you guys all know if you've been watching my videos. All I talk about are the champagne pearls. I love them. Love them, love them. Okay, let's see. I just kind of lay them out and see about how many. That looks good. Go ahead and give this a little snip, snip. There we go. Same with this. And then I'll put a bead of glue here, just at my edge. And then I'm going to go ahead and put that down. Get it out of the way. There we go. So far, it's looking beautiful. Oh, and I just realized what I didn't do. I forgot to stamp. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp now. So that's kind of nice. You just kind of stamp when you want. Do what you like. Find my vintage photo real quick. And I'll just kind of add some stamping here and there. Here we go. And again, I'm just moving my stamp around in a different location on my ink pad so that it's not all looking the same. And I made one of these cards will be for my mom and the other one will be for my mother-in-law. And I'm going to have them both over for like a late lunch, early dinner on Sunday. So it'll be a fun day. I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to make for food yet, but I'll figure that out later. So, and then I'm just going to do one right there. Looks pretty good. I'm happy with that. Looks nice. Okay. Now let's go ahead and let's start on the, oh, let me find my little mother word. I'm not quite sure where all my words went. Here we go. And I'm just going to put some glue on here. Good old Elmer's glue. And then stick it on. Ooh, actually, you'll notice this is the mother side, and I'm supposed to be putting love you on that side. So I have got that on the wrong side. So I'll stick it over here. And make sure it's a little straighter than that. There we go. Okay. And then now it's going to be a little bit more difficult to stamp on this side because I got those pearls on the other side. So make sure you stamp, you know, your stuff first if you do something similar. Because I might offer this as a, well, what do you call it, like a digi sheet on my blog here sooner or later. Maybe. I haven't really decided, but I could, I guess. I thought about selling kits, but actually I think it's just easier to sell the collage sheet and let people make what they want with it and print it out themselves. So let's see. Get some more here. Okay. Inking, inking, inking. Fun, fun, fun. Okay. So let's see. Yeah, this is the side I don't really have to do. Let's see, just there we go. Voila, done with that. Okay, let's put this back on here. And I'm going to get my perfect medium pen real quick, just so you can see how I like to just take my pen and go around the outside of the box, my little piece of paper. I call it little box words, or what I call them. And then I'm going to try to get that little off there. Let's see. Now I need my perfect pearls and perfect copper and my brush, and I just put a little on the tip there, And since I did just ink, it will stick to your like fresh inking as well. So if you like wanted to use an embossing ink, you could do that as well. That would look real pretty. So I just kind of go all the way around, and then any excess I give a little. There we go. So you can see it. See how it shows up? Looks really pretty and adds like another layer to your card. Okay, so I'm gonna find my pocket here. And this one is going to be, it's going to be backwards. Well, it's not really backwards. It doesn't really matter since, you know, no one else knows but me. But I had originally wanted the mother to be on the other side, but it doesn't matter. And then you just give this a little boost up here. And I think I'm stuck on something. Let me see. Nope, my pearls are stuck. Which one is stuck? Okay. Well, I had to figure out what's stuck. Oh, I know what it is. It's getting caught on this little piece at the bottom, so I gotta just make it a little bit poofier and make sure that piece is glued good. All right, well, let me go on to decorating this here. So I'll go ahead and see if I can get this to go in here right without hitting the other piece. Find out what's going on. Maybe I made it longer. Hold on just for a minute. Okay, I have got my little card in there, took care of the bottom. Sometimes I just need to open a little wider at the bottom and then put the card in. All right, I'm going to go ahead now and use this as my guide for my front here. And let's see. Let's get my little love you words. And just really quickly put some glue on them. And I'm going to stick them right about here. And it would have been easier to do those before I stuck that on here, so you can give it, it'd be easier to press down on it, because since I just had the pop dots there, it's a little bit more difficult. So here we go. Rub, rub. Looks pretty good. Maybe adjust this just a little. Good enough. Okay, and I'll outline that the same as I did the other. And I'm going to go ahead and add some pearls now. And I'm not going to do it exactly the same as I did the last time. I'm going to do things a little different. Similar though. I've got like about 5 or 6 pearls. I'm just going to stick around here. So, just so I get the idea. My glue gun is like older than my children, which means it's like at least 15. It's older than 15. Okay, so I have those there. I'm just going to put some more up here. I like to do things in odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, and 9. It's very rare that you see leaves or anything showing up in 4s and 6s, except for like forget-me-nots or hydrangeas. I believe they're like 4-petal flowers. So here we go. And then I'm going to put the longer one over here. I'm not really quite sure how long it's going to be. So it's pretty long though. So let's just snip off my edges and turn this around. Just kind of start it right here. And I think I'm going to clip off this one on the bottom before I glue that. There we go. I'll be happy with that. And let's see, go ahead and put a little extra more glue and glue that down. Okay. So far so good. Go ahead with my perfect medium pen. And sometimes you have to go over this a couple times just to get a nice solid layer of the medium here. So, okay, I got little glue hairs everywhere, kind of funny. And I'm trying to work kind of quick here because my kids will be coming home soon with their dad to, you know, hang out at home. They had Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts this evening. So let's see, here we go. Get all these blue hairs out of the way. Get that nice brushing, and then look for my mop brush. All right, and there we go. I think that's looking beautiful. I love it. Okay, I'm going to get this one out of the way for a moment. And bring this one back over here. Grab my two flowers. Figure out where I want to put them exactly. And my little tiny one here. And my pearl spray. And what I normally do with these pearl sprays is I snip them off about right there. So you can see I've cut off quite a bit of the end of it. And I'm going to have to get a little closer here so I can see what I'm doing. It's kind of difficult because I have my cameras kind of set a little farther off. So I think I'll go about here. That's looking pretty good. And get my glue gun. And I'll just put a dab of glue there. And stick that flower there. And then, let's see. That's looking pretty. Do the same on this side. And just stick a big old gloop-a-gabba. That's what we used to say. Goop-a-gabba, gloop-a-gabba. So a big old pile of glue there. And so that's looking very pretty. Two roses. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead now and just glue, put another drop of glue in there. And I'm going to take my pearl spray and just kind of slide it in. And then I'm going to take the edges here and I'm going to just poke it back up and in. So let me give you a better view. So I've kind of made it curly, twisted it, and I just put it back up in that glue that I had just adhered in there, or put in there. Lots of glue hairs when I'm doing this online here. Kind of funny. Big old pile. Ick, 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 ick. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to put some more glue in here so I can do my other two ends here. So let's see. Get the rest of that off. Extra glue. Okay, and do this one. Just right there. So let's see. You can see I'm just kind of putting it right in there. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. Whoops. As soon as I can get a hold of it. And just stick it in there too. And then I'm going to use my brush to press it down and make sure they're all in the glue. You can tell because the brush comes out with a little glue on the end. Okay. Now I'm going to take and just put a little dot, some glue over here, and move over one of my pearls so it just rests on there. And then that gives it a little bit more coverage. So I've got a loop over here, and one in the center. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put some more glue. And then try to figure out which, I like it, I think like this. And I just kind of stuck this up in here. So there we go. It's very pretty. And I think I'm going to put a little bit more glue between the two of these here so they'll actually stick together at the top so they don't come apart. Alright, and then I'm going to take some of my Arts trim Esmeralda sent me, and she sent me these other goodies too. And I'm just going to cut off the leaves that I want. And you'll see that one side is kind of it's flat, like this side is flat, and this side is slightly puffy. So There we go. I'm gonna, let's see, I'm gonna stick a leaf right in here. So I just put some glue down on my thing and then I stick my leaf where I would like it to be. Give it a little nudge here and there. There we go. And let's see, we need a couple more. So I'll go ahead and cut those real quick. There we go. And cut this other one. There we go. And I'm going to stick it in here somewhere. So sometimes I just put the glue right on the end of my leaf. And then that way I just stick my leaf wherever I want it to go. But I kind of knew I was going to go right there. So you can see, there we go, leaves, and my big old pile of dry glue hairs. They're going to drive me nuts. Okay, and let's see, where else do I want to stick one? I think I'll go ahead and make sure I get the poofy side. There we go. I'm going to just put this is how I normally do it. I just put a little bit of glue on the back. And I flip this over, and then I kind of hold it like where I think it would look good. And I don't really want to cover up my other rows, so I'm going to stick it right there. Okay. And I got my heart in the center. Ooh, that looks very pretty. So there we go. I have that, and I think that's pretty much all that we needed to do. So if you want to hold on just a minute, I'm going to go ahead and really quick show you one of the tags, and I'll just do something with it really quick. Nothing too fancy, but just something that you can go to my blog and download if you like. If you just choose to follow me by email, and then you can create something too to give your mom. Thanks. I'll be back in a minute.